Hi everyone, I'm Nadia. I am an artist from Rumpus. I'm a white woman in my mid 30s with dark hair up in a messy bun, pink t shirt on, and I'm currently in my kitchen. Sorry I can't be there with you today. The sharing, hope you have a really great session and look forward to catching up on the recording. If anyone has any questions for us about our project, you can get in touch at any point. I'll give your email address towards the end of this chat. So today I'm going to talk briefly about Rumpus, about our art evolution project and the learning from the project. So whilst I talk, I'll play some videos that were made as part of the work. Let me just share my screen just now. Okay. So I co-run Rumpus, which is a small artist-led initiative in Glasgow that's dedicated to collaborative practice, working and mutual exchange with children and young people on experimental art and social action projects. The studio in Govan Hill is run with a committee of young artists and hosts a programme of youth-led activity for children, young people and their families living in Govan Hill. The studio is a shared experimental space where children and young people can work independently and in collaboration with artists, activists, youth workers on ideas they've instigated. Rumpus aims to connect and celebrate diversity, people and place through child and youth-led creative and social action. Rumpus is focused on the principles of community, autonomy, experimentation, and the desire to work long-term to cultivate meaningful relationships and mutual exchange with people in the places where we live, work, and learn. So I started Rumpus with two artist friends in 2018. So we're coming up for 3 years as a result of lots of years of frustration working on short-term arts projects with communities of young people in different places across Scotland. Many of these projects work in short-term. So I wanted to find a way to work with autonomy in a more meaningful and long-term way with people in the neighbourhood where I lived. Through our work at Rumpus, we're trying to keep our structure open, democratic, and a place that can be shaped by all of those who become a part of it. We're seeking a place where freedom can orchestrate itself without being bound. As a new and growing project, Rumpus has been profoundly shaped by our individual and collective experiences of COVID, becoming a space not only for making art, but a space for social and political activity. And this has really shaped our way going forwards. Let's move on to talk about our art evolution project now. Next video. So our project for art evolution was called Our Restaurant at the End of the Universe and took place in September 2021 and ran into the start of this year with some delays due to COVID. The project was hosted with myself and Camilla Crosta, another artist who works with us at Rumpus in collaboration with 4 young lead artists or trainees, as the project calls them, from the studio: Ara Carmona, Rajini Chalwa, Dylan Izzard, and Matilda Noy. The project was a follow-on from our Fair and Care programme, which was initiated over the last 2 years by young people who are part of the studio and identified the need to create a safe space to discuss, lead, and experiment with food as an artistic and social practice. So we put a call out to our studio members for the 2 paid roles to co-produce a project with myself and Camilla. Camilla works with us on food, migration, and social action projects at Rumpus. Currently, we have around 40 young studio members, ages 16 to 25-year-olds, and around half of them are really active in our programme, and the other half get involved in a more ad hoc way. So for the Art Evolution project, we had interest from 4 young people to get involved. So we adapted our budget and invited all 4 to co-host and be paid for their time on the project. We also invited another young person, Fatima Higazi, who was a recent graduate from the University of Stirling, to work with us producing some video work as part of the project. That was also a paid role. The title of the project comes from a book written by Douglas Adams called The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. And here's a quote from the book. The restaurant at the end of the universe is one of the most extraordinary ventures in the entire history of catering. It's built on the fragmented remains of an eventually ruined planet, which is enclosed in a vast time bubble and projected forwards to time to the precise moment of the end of the universe. Camilla and myself roles in the project was to support the young artist group with their planning and to help them to select guest artists to work with, alongside supporting them with delivering the workshops and the project evaluation. We've got one more video. So the young artist group worked together over a number of planning meetings to co-create a programme of artist-led workshops for their peers to be involved with at the studio. These workshops took place in the studio for a group of 15 young people over 3 months. And inviting other artists to be involved. Sorry, too much talking, very dry mouth. So the programme was shaped around 4 main creative workshops. The first one was called Our Menu for a Communal Future, working with artist and potter Morgan and Grew to create tableware using clay and found objects. The second workshop, Edible Cosmic Colours, a workshop experimenting with natural dyeing, working with India of Wild Hues. The third workshop was a Fermenting Food Memories workshop, working with artist Clorinda Taste to make fermented foods. And the final session was an installation building session where the artist trainee group led a session in creating what our restaurant at the end of the world may possibly look like and sound like. So a bit of learning. We talk about using a rights and relationship-based approach in the work at the studio. This means we encourage young people to discuss their rights, issues that affect them as individuals, and help them to share their views and experiences through making art. We use this method to support young people to take ownership and find their voice through art and play as a form of creative expression and protest, making a space that is theirs to shout from. I'm just going to play this video again while I talk, so you've got something more interesting to look at rather than my face. The important thing for us in co-creating with young people are respect, honesty, and being interested in the young people we're working with. Mutual respect is key, and whilst friendship is important, boundaries are also in place to keep everyone safe. At Rumpus Room, we try to create a space without hierarchy and think of everybody as a teacher and a learner. Throughout the project, the young artist group involved had the opportunity to express creatively and experiment, learn and work collaboratively with other young people. They learned to had the opportunity to try new ideas with their peers, learn and share skills, and take ownership of the project, and grow in confidence in programming, facilitating, and producing collaborative artwork. They also had the opportunity to experiment with food as a form of artistic expression. During the workshops and the project, the group worked together to produce a communal dining blanket using screen printed images and natural dyed fabrics, working with Fatima to produce video works, which are still in the making, produced their own clay tableware collection and objects, alongside a series of screen prints and drawings and poetry menus. It was a very ambitious project, and the group wanted to do a lot in a very short space of time. We hosted a sharing event in the yard to showcase some of the group's work in progress, and are still working on bringing some additional funds in to finalise some of this video work, which is still ongoing. Although we felt the project itself was really only starting as it had finished, the support from Art Evolution gave us a brilliant opportunity and resource to co-produce with young people, and often in paid roles, which was something we want to continue to do at the studio, alongside mentorship and peer support for young studio members. It was also a positive experience for us to talk to Karen at vis-a-vis about the evaluation process and how we can embed that in a more practical way at the studio in a way that works for us. We felt supported by Engage and appreciated the open and direct communication we had with Hannah throughout our project, as well as being open to being flexible and changing our budgets to reflect what was important for the young people we were working with. We did face some challenges with COVID, first time back indoors for many people. There was some language barriers with different languages spoken in the group, and there was some anxiety with general group dynamics. But I think that by the end of our 4 sessions, the group felt much more comfortable. So we kind of realised that there maybe was a limitation because the timescale of the project was quite short. But we're finding ways to continue to build on relationships with those young people going forwards through other parts of our programmes. So As a follow-on from the project, two of the young artists involved have since joined our studio committee, and Ragini has gone on to produce an extension of this project focused on food and heritage and social action, continuing to work with Camilla with some funding from another organisation called Our Shared Cultural Heritage. So the real trick for us lies as a small organisation to find ways to continue to fund work we're doing, which is really about building long-term relationships in the community of young people we're working with. With many funders only funding project work for small or short-term projects or new projects, this continues to be challenging for us. As a follow-on from the Art Evolution project, we're also successful with support from Creative Scotland to develop 3 paid young arts bursary roles, and have been working on supporting our studio committee of young artists to deliver this year's programme, including our yard school, a summer school for 7 to 12-year-olds, and an autumn programme of experimental art and social action for the older age group 16 to 25. Okay, so if you want to find out more about our work, you can have a look on our Instagram, which is instagram.com/rumpusroom, then an underscore. You can also go on the Engage blog, which has a bit more information about the young artist trainee roles and a bit about their work. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to give us an email on rumpusroomteam@gmail.com. I think that's all from me just now, and thanks to Engage for supporting us. I'll pass back on to Hannah. Cheers.